Today's debate will be between two of my personalities, the pirate straw hat Grant and Jay. The hat will tell you who is addressing the audience. If the hat is on, then you are hearing from Grant, and if the hat is off, then you are hearing from Jay. The debate topic will be, are we all junkies, but some of us get high on things like other than chemicals? Or is there more to life than getting high? Jay will be arguing for all humans are junkies, and Grant will be arguing for you are only a junkie if you use chemicals to get high. In this instance, Jay will make his initial argument, so without further ado, I will let Jay start his 1-minute main argument. I propose that all human beings spend all their time trying to get high on dopamine or opiates. This sounds like a bad thing, but understanding what motivates us will better enable humans to teach themselves and their children how to get high without any chemical interaction. Our mind uses dopamine as a reward, which you can also get from a chemical stimulant. It provides euphoria from opiates, which are released when we have endorphin rushes. These two things motivate all of our actions. Say you like exercise. Some people like it because it releases dopamine, and some people like it because of the resulting endorphins that occur when you stop. However, some people get neither dopamine nor opiates from exercise, and starting an exercise routine for these people is very hard. Our very motivation itself is determined by how we get high, and the people who are capable of doing it without external chemicals have a huge advantage over the people who only get their highs from chemicals. It is important that we understand the significance of dopamine and opiate release in the brain, because once we understand what motivates every human to get high, we can start training our brains to get high in positive ways rather than negative ways. Alright, now Grant's rebuttal. This is a ridiculous concept. If my only motivation was to get high, then why do I go to work? I'm certainly not getting high from the experience of toiling all day long. There are so many things in life that we do that don't provide us a high. I take my car into the shop and spend large quantities of money. This results in a bad thing for me. I'm having trouble comprehending how I get high on so many of the things I do which I hate. We do what we do because if we don't do what we do, then we die. That is the only motivation that exists in life. Self-preservation is our motive and not getting high. If you can't do what you have to do to preserve yourself, or you are trying to avoid real life, that's when you turn to drugs. Drug use is not in any way linked to motivation. Jay is just trying to make up an excuse for accepting people who are too weak to do what they have to do to survive. Alright, that concludes Grant's rebuttal. Now it's Grant's 1-minute main argument. My main argument for us not getting high is that there are so many kinds of drugs and not just two. Jay conveniently left out the people who are going out and getting high on hallucinogens. Hallucinogens are used by people who like to see pretty pictures, but they aren't receiving endorphins or opiates. What about when you are angry? People aren't getting high when they are angry, they are fighting mad. This claim that endorphins and dopamine govern everyone is insulting to people's intelligence. We all have free will, and some of us make good choices while others make bad choices. I don't think this is a good idea to reduce humanity to a bunch of junkies and try to say that people who aren't junkies actually are junkies. If you are choosing chemicals to get high, you are a junkie. And you are only a junkie if you are using chemicals to get high. It is offensive to suggest that people who don't use drugs are junkies. I don't feel high all day long, and it is a bad thing, not a good thing, to spend your time getting high. Alright, Jay's 1-minute rebuttal to Grant's main argument. I am not in any way suggesting that people go out and start getting high on chemicals. You say you hate going to work, but why do you go to work? You go to work to earn money to eat, because when you eat, you get high. A starving person gets high from sustenance, which gives them an endorphin rush, leaving them euphoric. A foodie who isn't hungry eats and gets a dopamine high from the amazing food. No matter what you do, it can be tracked to dopamine or opiates. If you can accept this, then it will allow you to figure out how to live your life getting high in a positive way and avoid getting high in destructive ways. I have given examples of the positive ways to get high, but now I'll give you an example of a high that people get without drugs that is disastrous. People get high off of abusing others. Not all people, but some, and they are growing in number. Some get high on dopamine if they make someone look stupid. If we figure out what high people are getting from abusing, then maybe we can find ways other than abuse that these individuals can achieve the result that they desire. Alright, Jay's 1-minute closing argument. The reason that I'm suggesting that we are all spending our lives trying to get high is because if we are all consciously aware of why we do things, then it should make a huge difference in how we approach life and making ourselves better. Say someone angers you, so you punch them in the face. The accompanying endorphin rush makes you feel better. Someone who is aware of why he is punching a fellow human in the face can say to themselves, "This guy pissed me off and I need an endorphin rush so I can stop stewing about this." The realization that an endorphin rush is necessary can lead to that individual going through the list of activities that result in endorphin rushes for himself. He can pick an activity besides punching someone in the face that will give the individual just as much relief. For example, say this person gets an endorphin rush from jogging, so he goes jogging. The point is that once we accept the fact that we are always motivated by these two things, then we can avoid bad situations. I'm not wrongly accusing non-junkies of being junkies. I'm suggesting that consciously acknowledging what causes our actions, dopamine and opiates, leaves us capable of better managing the situations that we find ourselves in. Alright, Grant's 1-minute closing argument. You are suggesting that this theory is designed to teach all people better ways to cope. However, this argument glosses over a very real problem that people who use the word drunkie are trying to deal with. When the term junkie is applied, it means people who get high off of chemicals. It has nothing to do with the internal workings of the brain. No one can be a junkie if they do not use chemicals to augment their mood. If I were to buy into the approach to junkies that you are peddling here, then I would have to admit that even though I don't use chemicals, I am the same as a junkie. I do not believe that I am the same as a junkie. Not only that, but if it turns out that I am the same as a junkie, then I need to change my life so that I am no longer a junkie. Face it, being a junkie is a bad thing, and not an experience that we all have in common. I am in no way motivated by getting high, but instead I am motivated by conscious thought and decisions chosen through logic and thought. I am in no way enslaved by the chemicals released from my brain.